All right, this is my. Hmm. I just got a notification for my own live. Okay. Uh, well, there's actually one person watching. Welcome. Well, I hope this comes out clear enough. My computer that I'm using is pretty old, so and it was old when I bought it. What? Well, I got my cup of coffee here with me. Sorry, my the stand that I have for my computer is wobbly. Well, okay. Um, let's see. So I thought about this topic during the week when I was thinking about like as I'm trying to create content, trying to create better content for you guys, so that I can grow my channel and hopefully make this a full time gig. Um, I was actually thinking about like there was like several cases where like as a kid, I kind of wish that GoPros were a thing and whatnot because like there was like some pretty nuts fishing trips that I had, like and like one of the videos that I mentioned before, where uh, my mom would take us to a park in the city, and there was a little pond there, and I don't remember exactly if in that pond we were allowed to fish, but my brother and I did it anyways, and my mom would go like 2 3 times a week to go walking at that park because they had a little trail and it went around the pond. So my brother and I didn't want to go walking around for like an hour. So and there was a pond there, so we just instead of taking fishing poles, we were trying to be discreet, and we would either have a stick with some fishing line on it, and a little bobber or a little pinch weight on there with the hook, and we would use bread or even like little pieces of weenie to try to catch the bluegill that were in there. But every once in a while, we would end up catching like either a small carp or um, there was crappie in there too, and even largemouth bass. There was one time my brother put on a piece of weenie, and there was like a little uh, pier there, sort of. And sometimes we would fish off the pier, sometimes we would fish off the shore. It wasn't a very big pond. It was probably like a quarter acre pond, if that. But my brother, who's a straw hat outdoors, um, he put on a piece of weenie and he set the bait down in the water, and he said he just felt a little tap, and he lifted up his rod, or not his rod, but he lifted up the line, and sure enough, 14-inch bass right there. Another time he tried bubble gum, and it sure enough it caught a bass too. And then there were several times where uh, just using the regular bait that we caught, pretty big crappie out of there, and they may or may not have ended up on the skillet. Um, it was very unclear if we were allowed to fish there or not. So, um, yeah. Uh, and I'm in South Texas. There's a lot of farmland down here, or there used to be at least. But there's still like a lot of irrigation canals that pull water from the Rio Grande. And when they do that, a lot of fish get sucked in too. So there's places throughout the city, at least before, 20 years ago, 22 years ago, really, that the waters, the canals tend to be open. And, my grandpa, Sunday afternoons, my grandpa would, uh, after we got out of church, my grandpa would take my brother and I out to the canals to try to catch some bass, catfish, whatever was biting. We would first go out with the cast net and excuse me, we'll go with the cast net, catch some bait, and then go to the canals, go to our favorite spots, try to catch some fish. Sometimes we would even catch like white bass and stripers and whatnot. Um, but there was a one time where uh, there was one canal where the water level, like there was an irrigation gate, and the water would flow. There was a pretty good flow of water through that gate, and all that flow would uh, it made that water very rich uh, for uh, for bait fish, and there would end up being a lot of like bass there and gar, and there was even freshwater drum, gaspagoose, that were there too, and a lot of big catfish as well. And there was in one time where um, like there was a it was the side of it was almost kind of looked like a jetty, just to protect the from the canal spreading out more. And there was one time I was bored because we would just do Sed rod fishing. I really wouldn't throw lures, but there was one time I got bored. I was like, let me get a Coke bottle. I found some fishing line there, and I tied the fishing line to the Coke bottle. I probably had like 2, 3 feet, probably about 3 feet of fishing line. And I just grabbed a minnow that was already dead and tied a hook to it and everything. I got as close to the water as I could, and since I really couldn't throw that minnow out there too far, I just, I was kind of playing around with it, just uh, like kind of like throwing it in and out in several spots. And one of the times I just let that minnow sit there for a minute, and sure enough, largemouth bass just comes, and the water was probably only like 2 inches, like where I threw it, because I had thrown it on top of a slab of concrete, and there was probably only like 2, 3 inches of water above that slab of concrete, and that largemouth bass just comes, turns sideways, grabs that minnow, uh, and just it grabs a minnow, takes a bait. I set the hook, and I bring, it was real easy to bring in. It wasn't a very big bass, but it was a legal size, like right at the legal size, 14 inches. So the funny part was when that happened, my uncle was there with us, and he started complaining because because his fishing line was right next to where I was fishing, and had I not caught that fish, he would have supposedly. I think that he would have caught it regardless, uh, or if it was gonna go for his. Sorry, if it was gonna go for his bait, it would have already done it before I went down there. So whatever. And but yeah, there was a couple cases like that where I was thinking would have been cool to have a GoPro, and this was like before YouTube, and even before I think Google had just started too. So, but it would have been cool to have gotten uh, some of those moments in my life on camera and put it out there for y'all to see. Um, yeah, just memories that I share with my family, and this is why we fish, just to make memories with our families, um, or just to get away from things. Yeah. All right. Well, this went about what I kind of expected. Uh, Probably going to stay on here for a few more minutes ish. My family is still sleeping, so that's why I'm trying to not talk so loud. I know I'm monotone. That's another thing that from a childhood. Nobody liked it whenever I got excited, so I just don't get excited too much. I try not to. So cold coffee, instant cold instant coffee. Well, yeah. So this was a test run to see how well this would go for my first live. Um, Probably in the future I'll do more if I see people are interested in it, asking for it or whatnot. But thought I'd give this a try. I know a lot of times, a lot of my videos, I only have one camera. I only have one GoPro. So uh, a lot of my videos are from my chest or my forehead, which I call, the vision position because of, I'm a Marvel guy, and Vision has that little stone in his forehead. So I call that, when I'm recording from here, the vision position, or the Tony Stark on the chest, um, or Iron Man. So yeah. So yeah, my face really doesn't get to be on camera too often. I am working on trying to get a second camera. Uh, Economy the way it is right now, and I'd rather save those few $100s for my family to eat. And I'm a big guy, so food's more important. So, okay, well, I'm gonna go ahead and end it here. Hope to do this again later on in the future if y'all request it. All right. Y'all have a good one. Laters.